Hello, what I'd like to do is show you how to do tube embroidery. So tube embroidery is piping skills, and it's made with royal icing. So I've got my bags here, so I've got my royal icing bags here ready, and they're under a damp cloth. I'd also like to show you a sample. So that's a good example of tube embroidery. So it's a combination of stitches. So stitches that you have from normal needlework stitches that I've tried to put on a plaque, and it works really well with sugar. So I've got some samples here of the stitches, chain stitch, satin stitch, and if you're used to doing any sort of sewing, then you probably recognise some of these. So I'm going to first of all use a number. I'll use the dark colour, you might be able to see it better. So a cross stitch, hopefully you know what a cross stitch is. So it's a pipeline and then cross it over and then down. So it's a series of crosses, and that can be used as part of your design. Another one, maybe stem stitch. So I think if I pipe this a little bit bigger, you'll be able to see it. So stem stitch, series of S shapes, joining up, a French knot. So a French knot is a bulb and then just piped around. So instead of stopping, squeezing and coming away, this time you squeeze, stop squeezing, pipe round, and you're off. Running stitch, threaded running stitch would be, oops, got a blockage. So a running stitch is that one. So it's a broken line. A threaded running stitch is when it goes, starts one, up and underneath the next one. So it looks like it's threaded through. What else can I show you? Satin stitch is a good one as well to use. So satin stitch, a pipe very, very close together, but not actually touching. So a series of lines, pipe very close together. Show you those a little bit closer. So when it comes to doing a pattern, so I've transferred a pattern onto my sugar plaque, and I've got to think of where I'm going to put those stitches. So I can do a selection of stitches on there. I haven't got to stick to the same one, but yes, I can do the same one, but if it's a sample, it's nice to show a number of stitches. What I could do is use different colours. So I've got different colour royal icings in bags. It's always done with a number 1 tube. It's nice and fine. You can go down to a 0, 00, but definitely no bigger than a 1 when you come to do it. So I could, for example, use my, I'll use the lemon, and I could put satin stitch along here. So piping lines nice and close to each other. Neatness, I think, is the key thing to this. So piping it nice and close, but being very neat. So at no time should you be piping a straight line. If you make a mistake, don't worry, take it off, and always have a brush close by. Just need to wash my brush, got a bit of dry sugar on. It needs to be a dry brush. So I've traced lots of lines on here, lots of lines. You might be able to see. What I wouldn't do is just pipe a straight line. I need to do everything that goes onto this. It needs to be a stitch. So one of the stitches I've just been showing you. Now I can carry on up here. Could then think what else I'd like to put on. So I could do French knots. And perhaps along this edge, French knot. Piping that bulb and then piping the line around. Again, if it's not quite how you want it, you can then just place it in place with a paintbrush. Clean your tube if you need to. This colour is blue and yellow mixed together. It's lovely. I could do a section of cross stitches across here. Just go decide what you think would look nice where. So crosses. And I'm following the pattern, so I'm going smaller as I go along. I'll show you so far. I can repeat my stitches if I wanted to. What I could do with chain stitch, for example. So a chain stitch is a loop, and then the next one you start inside the loop and loop again. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but this tube is curling a little bit, and that is a bit annoying. If that happens, you better just washing the tube out. So I've got 2 tubes here. I'm going to use my next one. It's a little bit better. So chain stitch. I could just do a plain running stitch, so a broken line. I think it'd be nice if I do a satin stitch up here. Ooh. Now sometimes this happens and it's a dark colour on a light surface, so I'll show you how to get rid of that. I'll just get the sharp knife. And scratch that off. So I'm going to panic. Sometimes this happens. Just make sure I've got a clean brush and a dry one to take off any icing. There we go. So you do need quite good piping skills for this. So I think I might do French knots here. And so on. So you can carry on with all the different stitches to do a sample of tube embroidery. Okay, thank you.